I'm on a date tonight, so I'll have to just look good at I'll just do it in front of her, shouldn't
Going! He's kept going! He's scored! Oh, Stockport pressure. And the header into the back of the net! It's Palmer! Played in again. And a superb goal! Johnny did it! Lisa! Rose tries to get the ball in.
It's a five-star performance from Stockport County.
All right, we got a small house, but we got a big bloody heart, I tell you.
Hello and welcome to SKTV, the SK3 TV, even. New place. I can't speak.
It's
Brilliant.
all gone to
Yeah,
pot
it's
already.
all gone to pot already. 1 minute past 11 of a Saturday, like a radio DJ.
Everything's wrong.
Everything's wrong. The coffee's good though.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I promised Nick
Big fella.
breakfast.
But I got a coffee.
He's got
It's fine.
coffee.
So I'll take it. Yes, we are the home of Stockport County, Stockport music, and Stockport culture. And this week it's the show for the thinking county fan. As long as what the county fan is thinking is, oh, I want something for a Saturday morning when there's no football on. That's like Soccer AM, but with less misogyny.
Just go and make me a sandwich.
See, flipped it. Yes, we are here for probably not the next hour, but just enough time because we've got the live show on Monday night. We thought we didn't want to start a live show straight after a game by talking about a game that was 3 days before. I know what I mean.
We
That's
were,
what I think.
in all honesty, the way that my brain functions at the moment, I would have forgotten that there was even a game on Friday.
Often do. That's why it kills me having to do like the Tuesday game and then the Saturday game, and no one cares really.
No, because we move on. Like we don't dwell for long. We dwell briefly, talk about it, get it out of our systems, and then move on.
Yeah, it's only football, isn't it?
It is only football.
Yeah, no one's died. Right, admin wise, what should people do if they are watching?
I feel like they should like and subscribe. I feel like that's my safe answer.
Yeah.
Like whenever you ask me that question, I'm like, I've got no idea. Like and subscribe.
Yeah, and I noticed there's actually 5-star reviews on our Spotify now. Yeah, and I didn't do any of them.
Thanks, guys.
And I've never listened to this on Spotify, not once.
Do you know what? One of them's probably my dad. My dad got a form for this. It'll be, he'll have done Apple Podcasts because he's old school.
Okay, well, he counts.
But he almost certainly will have done. I'll go and check. And if he hasn't,
He's a
we'll get him on it.
He's a person. He absolutely counts. It's fine. Also, in terms of admin, big love and big love and good luck to the 5 lads who are currently walking from Peterborough to Stockport.
Dave Thompson went live on Facebook last night. I think it was about 10 o'clock. And like as we were driving out of Peterborough, I think the weather was similar as it has been here in that it was kind of a bit dismal, a bit rainy. And yeah, he already did not look in a great way. Yeah, and like I spoke to him before the game. He's like, I don't even want the game to happen. I just want to get going. And then when we were like 10 minutes injury time at the end of the first half, all I could think about was poor Dave Thompson. That this was just getting pushed along.
He wants to get a move on. That's it. But,
yeah, good luck to them. I'm going to be joining them on Monday at Lime Park.
I'll be joining them at the Bamford Arms.
Nice.
Yes.
Yeah, that last mile.
That last mile, I can take all the credit. What I'm going to do, just as I get into the finish line at Edgley Park, and elbow my way in front of him.
Yeah.
Go, yeah, look at me.
Yeah, do you know what? You need to not do the Bamford Arms. What's like you could do? I don't know.
Stockport College.
Yeah. No. I'm thinking like somewhere before, like I don't know, like the Esso garage.
Yeah,
off Kennelly Road.
I could do that.
And then when you rock up at the Bamford Arms, that you can be like, I've been here.
Right. Cheers, guys. Cheers, everyone. Cheers. This is all about me. And if you watched the show last week, you will have seen that there is a a brand spanking new signed. I always get match worn signed.
Yeah, definitely not match.
Signed's better than match worn, unless you're a polyester pervert.
And match worn and signed.
But then you can't wear it, can you? I couldn't wear a signed shirt.
Yeah, I'd wear a match worn. Well, I have one. I do wear match worn shirts.
Yeah. But yes, you can win that shirt if you. What do they do, Hannah? Tell them.
So if you go to either the club news page, there's a link there. If you go to my Twitter, which is _Hannah J Brown, my pinned tweet. I can't call it X. I don't even know what is it. What is a post on X? Is it just a post?
It's a tweet. It's always a tweet.
Right. Anyway,
it's Opal fruits, not Starburst.
My pinned post has all of the instructions in there, and we'll share it out again. And you just have to donate any amount. As far as I know, there's not a minimum donation for the platform. Don't forget to gift aid it as well. If you're a taxpayer, they get extra money then, and it costs you nothing at all, like a couple of seconds of your time to add your information. We've raised, last time I checked. Oh, and then just for ease, send me a message, or Nick, or on Facebook, or like any of the communication platforms.
Or you can email us at sk3tvpodcast@gmail.com.
Wow.
Had our first email yesterday. Our first email that wasn't from YouTube going, "Oh, you're live."
And just send us a screenshot, and we've got a spreadsheet. We'll give you a number. I think we're only up to like 20 odd, so the odds are very much in your favor.
Yeah.
And so you could get a match worn shirt. No, you could not get a match worn shirt. You can get
a brand spanking new, freshly signed shirt
for a £5.
Yeah,
essentially, or more.
Yeah.
And
also, if you're FanHub users, then what you can do on the rewards section, there's shirt framing. There's a discount on some shirt framing things. So.
Gosh,
mix the two together,
like,
melting pot.
Like
although I've fallen out with FanHub now that you can't consume content on there anymore. So what was the point of it? After how long it took me to get us on there.
I know. And all the rewards now. There's no Greg sausage rolls anymore.
Nope.
It's all.
There's pints at pubs that are nowhere near me.
Great.
So thanks, FanHub. But also thank you for representing fans and shit.
Even their merch. So I've got about 3. But if anyone wants a FanHub bobble hat, I'm your woman. You can have one. Donate to the 54321, and the first 3 people can have a bobble hat. Also, if anyone wants a Sock Council reversible hat, bucket hat, and has got a small head. No. Because if I've lost weight from my head.
I've never felt as self-conscious as I did when you looked at me just then. I was like, oh god, what is a snot on my face? Oh.
I've got 2 that are never worn with tags on that were bought for Wembley, and then we're too small. I think they're a medium. So yeah, if anyone wants one of those, donate, add, free bucket hat in your comment.
You can tell it's Saturday morning because this has just turned into swap shop.
It's because I said if you wanted the extra caffeine coffee.
Oh,
this is what's happening.
Okay, I wish I'd had that now. I wouldn't sleep for a week. John Billsbury says marathon spangles. I love it. It's just turned into a Peter Kay. Oh, do you remember Panda Pops? Oh God. What else is in the admin? Yes, Monday night our show will be coming live from Stockport Gin at the earlier time of 7 p.m. I'm only noticing now we're in the room together that I have hands that move when I'm. I
do it there as well. I'll probably whack you at some point.
Good. I thought you were going to do that when you were eyeing me intently just then. To be honest, I thought it was going to be a slap to the face. I don't like you. Bang. Yes, we'll be live from Stockport Gin from 7 o'clock. Broadcasting the usual Monday show. Refreshments, both alcoholic and non-alcoholic, will be available. And snacks. There is 100% chance of snacks. Thanks to
unless things go really badly tomorrow. So I've got my.
There will be snacks, or there will be mush.
There'll be crisps, 100%.
Crisps.
There may also be cream egg brownies, mini egg Rocky Road, and almond croissant cookies. But the 3 of those depend on the baking skills of my 5-year-old nephew.
Okay, so eat before you come, just in case.
Eat the ground.
If not, there will be a tray of detritus that you can order.
I've got really high quality control standards.
Yeah. That child is going to hate you. By
it's
no
fun.
What are you doing?
The girls didn't enjoy baking with me because I would take over and
You're the adult. You're the adult. It's fine. You can do what you want. It's your house. It's your bed. But yes, we'll be live. Nibbles at 6:30. 6:30 for Nibbles. 7:00 for the live show, and we'll be starting at 7:00 prompt. So don't start walking in at 7:05.
No, because you'll get heckled.
Is it heckling if we're the ones doing it?
No, all right, abused.
It's a word I can get on board with.
And we'll be doing the draw.
That's why I said it in the first place. Yeah.
So Ian said, "Do you still have time?" Yes, absolutely.
Yes.
It's because of the light, Ian. So Nick's got his back. I can't normally when we're in here. It's dark.
Tell
Not
the
much we can
sun.
do about it.
Phil Lloyd's only coming for a brownie. For you, Phil, there's a cauliflower brownie.
Yeah, well, we're very close in proximity to the produce hall. So when we were planning this, I was like, oh my God, I can make everyone eat the cauliflower.
Yeah. Done. Sorted. Maybe they'll let us do a live show. Speaking of Stockport Gin as well, obviously when we started this show, it was Stockport County, Stockport Music and Stockport Culture. And 45 episodes in, we finally thought, yeah, let's do some Stockport Culture stuff. So there is an interview between myself and Paul of Stockport Gin, filmed at Stockport Gin, that is on the YouTube channel and the Spotify, with a natty little picture.
Those little thumbnails.
I don't want to
They're
say
good.
it's the best thing I've done in my life, but it's the best thing I've done in my life. I was doing it, and then I was like, it needs something else. And I saw the coloured bars. I was
Monday
like,
night.
ooh.
No, it was later than that, wasn't it? When did it go up? Wednesday, Thursday?
Thursday.
Mm.
Yeah, Wednesday night that was.
Good anyway.
Yeah, I peaked
Well
on
done.
Wednesday night. Thank you.
Thanks, babe.
I work well with encouragement. I need encouragement, but at the same time, a massive lack of accountability.
Oh, I need the accountability.
Okay, I need the sweet
because
spot
I'm a
between the
people
two.
pleaser.
Okay.
So I can't let people down. So if I have the accountability, then that yeah.
I just don't want to please
I need
people.
yeah.
But at the same time, I go around saying I don't want to please people, but in reality, I'm
Yeah.
like, please like me.
Talking of people pleasing people, there was some people
I don't know where this is going. Go on. So,
Well,
it's pre-watershed.
I was trying to get a seamless segue into actual football.
Yeah. Should I press the button?
Yeah.
I'll press the button for football chat. Break glass for football chat. Yes, of course. We could chat about our lives and our mental health issues all Saturday long, but we have got the reason we did this. Speaking of Stockport Culture, yes, thank you, John Billsbury. Fiddler's Fancy. Oh, good job I didn't mispronounce that then. Fiddler's Fancy. John Billsbury's old Morris. I didn't know Morris Dancing had teams. I thought it was a troupe.
Oh, well.
I didn't realise it was a team.
Yeah, but John's like dumbing down his language to get
Yeah,
to the level.
thick like me. Yeah, that's it. Teams suggest there's a competitive element
There
to it.
probably is.
The way they shake the bill is
Oh my
pretty
God. Do
aggressive.
you know, and actually,
But they'll be behind the together stand.
so next
on Saturday.
week, I think it's the Stockport Festival of Dance. So this is a lovely
Oh,
prelude
LinkedIn, yeah.
to that. And they're behind the together stand at the honestly slightly nonsensical time of 1:30.
Fostering the Morris dancers of the future in the family
The
stand.
turnstiles open at 1:30. So what I'd recommend you do is go in at 1:30, indulge in the Popside pizza, which is elite, and then just enjoy the general ambiance as it fills up around you.
Ambiance and bonhomie.
Yeah.
Other French words exist. They don't. That's only 2 French words you need. Right, you went to Peterborough. It was a. I mean, given that we had a conversation earlier this morning where you said you got into, after your protestations of the last few weeks, there was a point where you got into whisper it quietly territory.
I wasn't happy about it.
No. I mean, I'm not happy about anything that happens in my life. That's the only thing I am happy about, the fact that I've coined this whisper it quietly territory thing. But I don't know. It feels like we've not had this massive overreaction to it.
No.
Which is kind of pleasing. I was expecting to be seeing people. The only arguments I saw was one on Yellow Board about what formation we've been playing for the last 6 months, which got really weird.
There was a lot of arguing intra Stockport County fan arguing
Fan on
in the
fan.
stand.
Shit to the waist.
There was a lot of, oh God, Can you imagine?
Which half?
The playoffs, like in the heat of the sun, that'll be fun.
Oh.
Yeah, it wasn't a great atmosphere. There was lots of frustration aimed at Mr. Breakspear, lots of frustration at the Peterborough players. So Keelan, who's also called Carl, that used to work at the Real AFL with, he messaged me afterwards and said, "Oh, Jack Diamond looked bright," or something like that. Like, yeah,
lol.
Like, yeah. I don't even think he was trying to be funny. It might have been. Sorry, Carl. And I was like, I'm really worried about the state of your pitch because your players they found it almost impossible to stay on their feet. And he was like, "Oh, we do like a roll around." Like that was like nothing I've ever seen before in terms of, just became a thing. Oh, there's a Peterborough player on the floor again for no apparent reason. I mean, accepting whatever injury that was that on Archie Collins.
So by the sound of it, there was
from
Darren Ferguson's interview after the game, bone was visible.
So right, okay. So this was the conversation that we had. Like, why are they not getting him off? And like, I was like, well, there's clearly he's conscious. He's sitting up. There's no Nickelback injury. The only thing for
Nickelback, were they there?
Christ. There's no. So that was the only other one for me. Compound fracture, because you have to secure the bone and all of that. So that makes sense.
Yeah. Well, I'm not. When they said bone visible, I imagined it was more. I can't believe this is where the show has gone. Visible bone is going in the episode title. Excellent.
Oh.
That's my Saturday night name, Visible Bone. It's so by the sound of it, it was more of a stud injury than a fracture.
Oh right.
Yeah.
Okay.
But it's fun seeing. It's one of my many pet hates in football. One of them is this thing of, oh, a player went off injured, so it must be a red card, which I've seen from a lot of Peterborough fans over like the last few hours. Really weird. It's like, well, no, it wasn't. The referee dealt with it. But I think he gave Norwood a yellow. Norwood, who had maybe his worst game for us, he just seemed to look lost without. I don't know if it's because he had. I couldn't work out where Odin Bailey was meant to be playing, honestly, because he was pretty much anonymous.
And one of the good things that Ollie Norwood did do was direct play.
Yeah, someone had to.
Behind him, but kind of forward as well. And I think that's something that we have really appreciated this season, especially in the absence of Lewis Bate.
Again.
But even when Bate plays, I think, I mean, we talked at the beginning of the season about the loss of kind of on-pitch maturity from Stars, from Paddy, and I think Ollie Norwood has kind of filled that gap. But I don't know. He was talking to a couple of players while they were treating Archie Collins, and it looked like he was suggesting that there was some pushing involved, and it was. I don't think he felt like he was 100% to blame for it.
Well, this is where I get onto another one of my pet hates, because there's this big long. That's all this show's going to be, just my football pet hates.
I've got a new football ick.
The long,
go on.
Maybe it's the same one. Well,
no, it's not. It's not going to be related. It's so random.
I'm so excited. I'm just gonna shit out what I'm about to say and get out of the way, because this is what I'm excited for. So the injury break, 11 minutes, the game stopped for. Straight away, Peterborough players went and got a ball, kept themselves moving. Yeah. We were just stood around, and it boils my urine, seeing as we're pre-watershed.
Yeah.
You don't want to be swearing if people are watching this on a Saturday morning with the kids. No, but other people's might be.
Right.
Not here. No, it's not all about you, Hannah, but it is all about you now, because I want to know your ick.
Right, I've got two that I've just thought of.
Do it.
So one was how close their shirt is to our shirt. It messed with my head all day, particularly the first half. I kept getting really excited when they'd have the ball, like running back to their goalkeeper, and I'd be like, yeah, and then I realised they were just passing it back. It really, even players warming up, because they have the same grey, because they're Puma as well. Yeah. They have the same grey top. And I'd be like, who's that? I don't recognise who that is. He looks like what's it called, Brown, that played a few years ago. It was Chris Clark, but that's neither here nor there. So that really, and a few times I thought that Jack Diamond must have been suffering from the same affliction, because there were a couple
I
of
think everyone was.
a couple of passes in the first half where it was like, oh yeah, he's with me. No, 3 mascots. Peterborough had 3 mascots.
Oh, was in the big,
like 3 equivalents.
One of them was a skip.
One was a skip. One was a Bob the Builder ripoff. So they're sponsored by Western Homes. So I assume that those 2 are associated. At half time, there was a getting a big ball and a skip competition. So I assume.
Good job Dave Philbin wasn't there. He'd have been cheated out of another one.
And then there was another mascot, which was a rabbit, which I thought was Easter themed. It's not. It's just a rabbit called Pete Burrows. So he's got this enormous carrot. He was quite funny because there was a long chant of "you can stick a carrot up your ass," and he's like holding it up, looking at it like, "Oh no!"
That's my dream job. That not the Peterborough, just a mascot in general.
One of the reasons I wanted to lose weight was so that I can fit in a mascot costume.
Do you want to be Vernon Bear?
Honestly, we've been talking a lot about my dream jobs this week. That would be my dream job, but I have got a backup lined up with another EFL team.
Well, we can just create our own mascot, because that seems to be what Peterborough are doing. Do you think that's a bucket list thing that Peterborough are doing? It's like, I really want to be a mascot before I die.
Aaron loves Easter Bunny.
Yeah. Well, yeah, sorted.
Hey, yeah, if I could do that, that'd be great. Actual football.
It just felt like one of those. I mean, from 10 minutes in, I just got Cambridge vibe. Not in the Cambridge like Peterborough, I could not point to it on a map.
No.
Not in that sense, but just a sense of.
Given, I think they're actually quite geographically.
Apparently so. So I'm told.
Right. So I always thought.
But apparently Lincolnshire's close as well, which blows my mind.
Because I drove through it. But I thought that Peterborough was close to Cambridge. Then I thought that it wasn't. It actually is, because there was you're just a small bus stop in Cambridge chant. But now I think the problem is that Cambridge isn't where I thought it was.
Maybe nowhere.
I'll have a look. I'll have a look at a map.
Could it have moved? Could Cambridge have moved?
No, but I did genuinely think Cambridge was near Whitstable or somewhere on the coast.
Oh, I thought Cambridge was near Oxford, because I always thought that doesn't the boat race go from Cambridge to Oxford? I don't know. It's not a. It's not a. I'm too working class to know.
I might have agreed with that previously, but now after yesterday, I'm fairly sure, because I used to. Right, this is how bad my geography is. I lived in Oxford for 2 years. I worked away from home, so I'd go down, and we did some research, and BBC, the equivalent of Look North, I can't remember what it's called, something southeast, and I was like, is this the southeast?
There we go. So if you're living there and you don't know, how on earth are we meant to?
Yeah. Anyway,
to know.
Moving on.
But it just had that feeling of the Cambridge game from the first start. Like, just not even doing the basics correctly. We look very sloppy, and it's not even. It got to. Obviously, they scored just before half time with a. I've seen Odin Bailey getting criticised for not just lumping the ball into the box, but as we saw from our crossing all game, we weren't creating anything from them. The crosses were just getting cleared every time. So I've got full respect for Odin Bailey for actually trying to do something, get the ball down and do something. Tried to flick it over their player, went a bit wrong. Ethan Pye, his one mistake for the season.
Yeah, and you got to kind of.
Yeah.
It's what it is.
But hopefully that's the game all the scouts have watched. And they've gone, he's rubbish him. No, it's fine. Leave him. We don't want him.
But you know what as well? If someone's you watch it back and he goes, he's kind of proximate, and then the player's foot comes right up. I don't know whether it was something, almost an involuntary reaction to having a foot flying at your face. Yeah. That you kind of. I
mean, I just ran off the pitch and started crying. So he's a better man than me.
And the speed of either Ricky Jade Jones or Ricky J Jones, depending on which media outlet you read the reports from. And I think. In the moment, I didn't think that Corey could have done anything else or better or
No.
differently. Having watched the replay, I think he's just kind of like a deer in the headlights.
There was
And
a
he
point
could have
where
moved.
he couldn't work out whether to come or not.
Yeah.
So he kind of came and then went and then came again.
Yeah.
But I think
You've got one chance, haven't you?
Yeah.
Essentially, you have to make a decision in the moment, and I think he was just kind of paralysed.
But I think if one of our strikers is through on goal in that same situation and it's saved by the goalkeeper, we'd be criticising the striker. Well,
Yeah.
I think we would say he should have scored that.
Yeah.
So it was a great finish. To be fair, it's he hit it at 60, 70 miles an hour past him. Who's getting to that really? But then we had a similar thing last Saturday where we really got into our rhythm before before half time, and then the whistle comes, and you're like, oh,
Yeah.
that's it. But to credit us, I think one of our best periods was after half time yesterday.
Yeah,
We seemed to really get a
definitely.
foothold in the game. They seemed to be panicking, but it was just we did it without managing to create anything.
Yeah. We made changes at half time. So Horsfall went off, I think Bailey went off. Who came on?
We had Mingy came on, which was the surprising one. The surprising one for me
Yeah.
was Mingy coming on at half time. Who probably one of my picks for man of the match, Jay Mingy, actually, I think. I was surprised to see Hills stay on because he got Fevs, of course, yeah.
I would have taken him off. He looked so close to a second yellow so many times.
And it got to a point where they were just throwing themselves on the floor near him, and I thought, no, this is not going to end well.
And he was getting rattled.
Yeah.
There was one point it looked like he grabbed Jay Jones's hair.
Yeah.
And I think he was lucky. And actually, Carl, when he messaged me last night, was like, he probably should have gone off towards the back end of the second half, which I don't think I noticed.
But then even with the change, I thought, because I was expecting him to be taken off at half time because it was a red card waiting to happen. And then with the changes, I assumed with Horsfall coming off that Hills was going to move into the centre where he wasn't going to get terrorised by nippy wingers.
Yeah.
But he didn't. And I just spent the whole 45 minutes feeling sick. And then
I think he did play more centrally.
He wasn't like a full-on right back as he was, but he was still over to the side defending at times. And I found myself like Googling to find what the rules were, like how many games is he suspended for, if he has a second red.
Well, that's the thing. So I was similar in that, because we were at times we weren't even in second yellow territory. What happens if you get a first yellow and then your second yellow is effectively a red, like for violent conduct or something?
Oh no, they can give a straight red for the second one.
Right,
Yeah.
so then it's like your two
Yeah, so you get the normal violent conduct ban if that happens. Yeah. But if anyone from County is watching, don't do that.
No.
Please don't do that. Because I like my Jeopardy, but as the sort of psychopath who always goes on about, I like Jeopardy. Ben Walker is on another level, but I found myself I was making some noises that I've never made before in my life watching that yesterday. I was pacing, I was shouting, and then I was doing a bit. I just felt sick, and I don't know. And then I think it was because I had one eye on the results elsewhere. I had notifications on for results elsewhere. So when Wrexham went a goal down, and if you're a Wrexham fan, you're watching this, well,
which we do know, we have learned in the last week that we do have some Wrexham fans who watch it, not to clip things.
No, because they like it.
Because they like it.
We don't like it.
Who'd have thought?
Mad. Hello.
Nice.
But it's not because we're obsessed with you. It's because if you drop points, it gives us a chance.
Yeah.
But
it's all about us.
It's all about us. It's like McFly. And
no, it's all about you.
I know, but I've only had 7 coffees this morning. I can't think straight. I'm pinging off the wall. It just, as soon as Wrexham went a goal down, I went full whisper it quietly. But I had this feeling that one or both of them were going to drop points, so were we.
Yeah. Like I said to you this morning, I moved into whisper it quietly territory. Very unexpectedly. I was expecting it, maybe after tomorrow. No, Monday. But it didn't last long. because Wrexham are Wrexham,
Yeah.
and they have not responded well as a fan base. We talk about our fan base being completely normal. Yeah, they've had one of those days because Bristol Rovers are where they are. They've dropped in the relegation zone, and I think the difference at the moment, and we talked about, I think I said this last week, that Wrexham's run in is at least as bad as Wycombe's, because it's not about the teams and where they are in the league anymore. It's more about recent form, because there are players that are players like Poku didn't play against us in December. That changed. He was
fantastic. Yeah.
And the other thing as well is it's like style of play. So Wrexham lost to Stevenage when they played them in the reverse fixture. They've got them coming up. They've got Charlton. They've got Blackpool. Like Charlton have got as much to play for as Wrexham. So I think, it was the goal going. It was the Wrexham goal, and I got proper. I went a bit goosebumpy, and then we were in a position there when we were, the time.
It was like the Glenn Taylor moment from Team.
And then. And then when it arrives, it's broken.
Yeah. Oh. And you don't want to send it back. No, you don't have to deal with it.
But if you do complain to them, they just give you the money back, because it's not worth you sending it back.
No, of course.
Right,
Yeah.
Anyway, that's a public service announcement. Use Apple Pay; it's encrypted. And I was kind of like, all right, could this happen? And then that result, or the goal, was ridiculous. So I thought that I had probably incurred some kind of facial injury / broken nose. I thought my nose was bleeding. Then I realized it was just hay fever. But I think I've got a bit of a black eye. Aidan and Cam kind of collided. It was ridiculous. I think the relief, but also, because people had been so frustrated. Yeah. But it's the closest I've come to actual physical injury at football since the Salford second leg.
Oh yeah. I was too busy giving it out to I was too busy leaning over the barrier to that kid in a full United kit. he still has nightmares about that.
Priorities.
It just. So I found myself when the goal finally came. I found once again showing how misjudged it was to have a goal of the season contest early, because it's another contender.
Yeah.
But I found myself up and cheering when it went in, and then I sort of did a thing where I was stood up on the sofa. I was like, "Don't celebrate! Get the ball! Get the ball!" I just went, neighbours wondering what's going on.
Yeah. And then it did feel very high pressure. I know that the wonderful Jesse Fevs got some pelters for the shot that he. But do you know what? If he'd have hit it just a little bit differently, it'd have gone in. He would have been the hero, the hero of the season.
He would have kept the hope of automatics alive.
You've got to go for your shots. There were a lot of. Throughout the game, those shots that looked kind of mindless, and that it was just having a go. But sometimes they go in, and take your chances. Why not? We'd be complaining if they were just passing it around. Forward!
Exactly. Yeah. Oh God. But it's always horrible at a point like that where you're desperately trying to get a goal, because you are going to try more things that won't come off, and they're normally not going to come off, and then that's going to get people frustrated. But so weirdly, we saw Ben Taylor this morning, who had seen Sam Byrne, who is convinced that we're going up in second, and that made me feel so much better about myself, because I'm still convinced. Last night in the group chat, it was me and Des Hinks of the scarf my father wore, both saying,
"I'm glad that I was driving." I think I might have. Yeah, no, it would like. Don't get me wrong, it would be lovely. Oh, I'd also like to complain about what happened yesterday.
Come on.
I forgot to place a bet against us.
Yes, you did.
And
I was wondering what Dave Challoner had been doing. I thought it was the open training session on Monday. It's like, but maybe they should have trained at Carrington and not pandered to us idiots. I thought it was that. I thought maybe that was a training session that ruined everything.
no,
But no,
really,
it turned out it emerged that you hadn't put a bet on.
But when I realised, I put a bet on quite quickly, and we scored quite quickly afterwards.
It was all too little, too late.
So, well, it was, what's the point? It's better than nothing.
No, it is. But you just know.
Do you know what I'm going to do tomorrow? I'm going to do Mondays.
You do Mondays now. You just know that Monday. I've not even looked at who both Wrexham and Wycombe are playing on Monday. But you just know if points are dropped. Like, I'm convinced whatever happens, we'll win at Wycombe on the last day. I think we will. So we could be back in Whisper It Quietly territory by 5 p.m. on Monday night.
Do you know what, though, as well? And there's been a bit of a discussion of this in the chat. You get to then tactical 3 to 6 positioning.
Which annoys me.
Because, I mean, like I've said, I'd quite like to finish 6th and be home on Saturday lunchtime, because that means I can go and do stuff that I want to do on Saturday.
See, it's fine to want that based on your personal circumstances. You see it every time England win a tournament. It's like, oh, maybe it's better if we finish second. It's like, well, if you try to finish second instead of first, then you're just going to finish third.
Yeah.
Well, that's how it goes.
I'm also sorry, Matt. Just earmuffs. Would be relatively happy to see us lose to Wycombe if it meant that they got second.
Which Matt? Oh, Matt. But see, that's the thing. I just hate it. I just want to go into a box of straw like a blue Peter tortoise.
But then at the same time, I'm a massive contradiction in terms, because I've said I'd be quite happy for Wrexham to go up and for us to stay in League One and do our own thing. I've got potentially Bradford coming up. So I get my whole league podcast back, which I'm super excited about, like very genuinely excited. Donny can stay down in League 2 because I don't love Donny fans.
Speak highly of you as well.
They know it's fine. Well, they do actually, because they take photos of me. So yeah, I've like properly got into Donny Salford on Tuesday night. Salford Donny, like, really, like, very, very invested in that game.
Well, seeing as you've mentioned being quite fine staying, I think most of us are quite. We're never going to have another promotion hunt like we had, like 2019 and 2022. Nothing's going to, because those were the two most vital ones.
Yeah.
Everything else after that is a case of us being back at a level we've spent a lot of time at before. Courtesy of Phil County off Yellowboard, actually. He posted last night saying, is anyone else feeling more relaxed about this season than any of our other promotion challenges in recent years? To me, it just feels like we're in a win-win situation. So in terms of going up to the Championship, he's made a little list of pros and cons, basically.
Oh, nice.
So going up to the Championship, you've got the prestige of getting promoted, playing against bigger teams, more TV money, back at the highest level we've ever played at. Overhaul of the squad will be required. Andresen will more likely to be sent out on loan. We'll be most likely losing more games than we win, potentially be involved in a relegation battle, and you could say that Edgeley Park isn't ready for the step up, even though, I mean, well, it's nearly 25 years since we were last at that level. Edgeley Park's not really improved since then. In terms of staying in League One, though, still playing against some big clubs. The likes of Cambridge and Crawley being replaced by teams like Bradford and Port Vale. Yeah. Fine with that. If Grimsby can come up as well, I'd be delighted.
Oh, no, I've not missed Grimsby.
No, I want Alex on the podcast.
Oh, fair.
Yeah, that's all it comes down to for me. Less additions to the squad required. Likely to be competing at the top end of the table. More potential for Andresen to be involved with it. It's very Iceman heavy. I think everything's coming together.
When he came on yesterday, like on the way home, my brother was like, "Did he even touch the ball?"
Yeah, I feel.
I'm not entirely sure. He did seem to be everywhere. But-
Was he everywhere, or was that Owen Moxon? Because I don't know.
No, it was Benny. Owen Moxon was very, very.
The
good when he
SK3
came on.
TV away sponsored Owen Moxon.
Yeah, go on, sorry.
Got an
I've
assist.
to, like, finish.
Oh, at the end of it, gives us longer to make progress in Edgeley Park, and League One is still a great level.
Yeah.
To play that. Yeah,
I've enjoyed League One. And Phil makes an excellent point in that the way that, like, Derby, for example, have you seen that thing about the Championship that
everyone
single
can still
team can go up or go down? No, well, like, no, they can't all go.
No, Plymouth
like,
aren't going to be struggling to play.
But they can. Everyone is playing for something, which is absolutely.
That's why the Championship is the best league in the world. I've always said it.
League 2 is the best league in the world. League 2, 100%.
God, if you love League 2 so much, why don't you go and watch Salford
well, I do.
on a Tuesday night?
That's exactly it. Enjoyed it. There was Nigel Clough there. Who else did I see?
Nigel Clough fulfilling his dream of finishing fourth bottom, quite possibly.
Temps off of Fleetwood. Who else was there? Joe Crosby from Tranmere. It's like every time I go to Salford, it's like a veritable who's who, and not even the United lot.
A Tranmere who could quite possibly be in non-league because Carlisle are doing Carlisle things.
I mean, I'd be incredibly surprised if Carlisle managed to do that, but credit to them if they do manage it.
I mean, nobody fancies going up from that league. Like Port Vale slipping up at Carlisle yesterday. It's just,
oh my god, like,
and then having a penalty save last minute.
And then there was Bradford. What did I watch the other day? Bradford Notts County.
Yep, points dropped again.
Everything like Salford Donny. You know, Donny needed the points. Salford kind of held them to draw, and actually Salford played better, I think, the Donny. It's an interesting one. But we had this last season. We went through a phase where we only stayed top because everyone was dropping points.
Yeah.
I mean, Walsall are in kind of free fall. But yeah, it's worth keeping an eye on League 2. That's interesting at the moment. I
think hopefully Monday we'll get that playoff place secured, and then I can just watch League 2 until the playoffs come around. I'm quite fine with it. And so this is a question I'm going to ask people at the live show on Monday night post Huddersfield.
Oh, can we run around with a microphone?
Yeah.
You know, like, well, what,
like challenge Annika.
Oh, I could. Like, that's what the influencers do, don't they? They don't. They like hold them.
Stunt Peg has one of them.
Yeah. Does she? Wow.
Yeah.
Bet she hasn't got a white one. The white ones are cheaper. That's why we've got white.
Oh, right. I prefer white. Yeah, she has a black one, and away days.
You can get something as well where they drop into like an actual microphone, so you can hold it.
Maybe I'll run around the streets of Petersgate with it on Monday night. So, what do you think?
Yeah.
Going with Wetherspoons, like, what do you think? So the question I was going to ask before we went on about microphones. How do you see this? I mean, let's say, I mean, it's going to take something momentous for us not to make the playoffs now. How do you see it ending?
Honestly,
no, lie.
Well, no, like, this is me being pragmatic. How I see it ending. Well, it's one of two things. I think either way, we're not going up.
Okay. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Ultimately, it depends on who we get in the semis. I don't want Charlton. So Charlton secured their playoff position.
Yeah. Considering how much when we played them away earlier in the season, considering how much their fans were whinging, they've gone on such a run with the blind fellow off Strictly in charge. He looks like him. Nathan Jones really looks like Chris McCausland. You will not unsee it.
Do you know what? I know loads about Nathan Jones because I was supposed to interview him and it got cancelled at the last minute. So I'd already done all the prep.
Oh yeah.
And I'd never.
Well, we can use that at you can just hand it over to BBC Radio Manchester.
Yeah.
My mates at BBC Radio Manchester.
Yeah, I mean, tell them I've already got notes. So yeah, that ultimately I don't think we're going up. I think I'm fine with that. I've reconciled it. I will not be fine if I am at Wembley and we lose on penalties again. I cannot cope with that. And I've already said that if we go to Wembley, I will, at great personal expense, I want to do hospitality because I want it to be. I don't
You want to be in a controlled environment.
I don't want to remember like abject disappointment and heartbreak again, because by then I will be fully invested in this. So I want to make it more about like the broader experience of the day, so that there is some positive.
You can vlog it then, can't you?
No, do you know what I was going to do? So yesterday I had Cam and Aidan in the back of my dad's E-Class convertible Mercedes, which I folded you into earlier. It was so funny. It would have made the best like TikTok away day. Like trying to get the roof back down while you're like driving it. It was just one thing. It was like a carry-on film. And I kept thinking, oh, this would be really fun, and then did nothing all day. There's no. I didn't even take a single photo.
I did. You sent some to me for the dude.
Oh yeah, but not like those amazing seats, like antique.
Yeah,
they look older than the stadium. I don't even know.
So I think someone said 1957 that stand was built.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, and it's just not done anything with it since. So getting on to Monday.
Oh yeah.
So Wrexham are playing Blackpool. Cream egg brownies. Monday is cream egg brownie day. No football. It's just.
But, do you know what? It has proper nostalgia for me. So my first ever county game was Huddersfield at home.
Was it?
Yeah. So I meant to do hospitality and then completely forgot, and then it sold out, because that's what happens now. It's insane. But in previous years you would have just been able to book it last minute. But so I have. So we can expect a 0-0 draw, basically, if history is to be repeated.
I mean, Huddersfield are going to have to come out and have a go, because they're 5 points.
They're well out of the moment, aren't they?
Blackpool have a game in hand though. Blackpool are in with an outside chance. If they win their game in hand, they're 3 points. But I'm assuming their game in hand is against Birmingham.
Yeah, it must be.
Yeah,
but Birmingham Crawley yesterday.
But I don't know what happened. Were they playing?
I think it was 0-0.
I've just got to the point now where I always assume that Birmingham haven't played.
I'm fairly
yes, it was 0-0. Yeah, I just always assume Birmingham haven't played.
And that would be 23rd place Crawley,
who are still in with a chance of staying up. Even Shrewsbury have gone now.
Yeah. We've not said that. Shrewsbury. Oh, and Huddersfield sacked their director of football.
They sacked the director of football that they seem to have been whinging about constantly for the last year and a half anyway.
And how many managers do you think that they had
73
in the 2 years that he's been in post?
See, we discussed this earlier, and I've forgotten.
5 managers.
That's insane.
So starting with Neil Warnock, and then at the moment they've got an interim
John Worthington again
after Michael Duff went.
Yeah.
So
they need to.
I don't think they've had much of a.
Their current form is absolutely woeful.
Yeah, they've got 1 win from the last 6. Although cheeringly, it was against Mansfield.
2 wins from the last 7. I mean, we could have put a team together to beat Mansfield, I think. It's amazing that Mansfield are actually quite a bit further up there on the form table, because I just assumed they were terrible.
No, they've done a bit better recently. But unlike yesterday, they were it was one of those score lines that looked like no one was defending, because it would go like 1-0, 1-1. The other one to talk about yesterday was Leyton Orient, and who were they playing?
To Barnsley and won 4-3 after being 2-0 down at half time.
They were 2-0 down. I think when they
were 3-1 down as well.
Yeah, and then I messaged Marshall, friend of the show. I was like, "What on earth is happening?" He's like, "It's nuts." Especially
given that when we won there, the consensus among their fans was, "Oh, that's it for this season. We're not going to get playoffs," and they've just come out of nowhere.
They have.
Probably. I mean, I think Huddersfield falling apart will have contributed to that.
Third in the form table. They have had a decent run, so but then they lost to Burton. And this is my point. This is why Wrexham fans shouldn't be taking it quite so personally that they lost, or they didn't lose, but they didn't decimate Bristol. because these teams at the bottom are fighting for a significant amount of money, essentially, in commercial terms. It's very hard. Like, obviously, League Two has that nice bonus promotion spot, but it means we also have a bonus relegation spot. I don't think you can't look at the league table, you can't look at it's more about kind of style of play and form to a certain extent. But then look at Wrexham's form. So they've been at the top of the form table for not the top, but top 3 for months, and they're now 7th. They haven't won since they beat Exeter they beat Burton, but drew with Wigan, drew with Bristol, drew with Cambridge. I'd like to see an analysis of what happens if they just keep drawing games. Maybe as far as all the kind of equations went, they just have to drop points, right? They don't have to lose games.
No, that's
oh my God, I'm talking myself into it.
This is it. Whisper it quietly. It's going to be in the episode title for the second time this season. I always feel sorry for. Well, I feel sorry for the sensible, balanced fans of any club, really. But whereas we've got the sensible, balanced fans like ourselves, and then you'll have idiots from Stockport talking rubbish. But Wrexham have the disadvantage of having idiots from Wrexham talking rubbish, and then idiots from America who know nothing talking rubbish. So I've seen Americans like posting, because we get Wrexham stuff in the feed because of algorithms and stuff like that. And there's like these American Wrexham fans like saying, "Oh, why does he keep persevering with Smith and Rodriguez when it's not working?" I thought, but it is working. You're on the verge of promotion, and it blows my mind. And then this whole thing of, well, we need Mullin and Palmer back. It's like there's clearly no room for sentiment. Just get over it. And so sometimes when I get like exasperated at some of our fans, I just go and look at that and think, okay, it's okay.
And I think the challenge that they have as well is that those American fans, and this is why I'd like a season not doing a full league podcast with Wrexham. There would be the whole Mansfield should get points deducted because they cancelled a game due to weather events, and it's not even the kind of football knowledge, it's the wider kind of and the lack of kind of history and understanding. And don't get me wrong, like some of and this is what, like we've said before, and one of the arguments that was happening in front of me was someone saying to their protagonist, you've clearly never played football, the kind of comments that you're making. And that's why I don't often comment on refereeing calls. I don't like I've never played football apart from when I was 10, but the lads made me play fly goalie, and it wasn't a happy experience. Yeah, I was a forebearer or something. But yeah, I just that's not in my wheelhouse. I don't, I have no business talking about that. And I think that's the difference. Like, these are not people that have played grassroots football, and but they can. I mean, grassroots sport in the US is pretty much non-existent.
Yes.
So you don't have, it's kind of starting to happen, but there's not like lower leagues for the NFL, or it just doesn't exist. It's elite. It's the NFL, the AFL. There's no relegation. There's no. It's just baseball. You don't have like grown men, kids. Kids play baseball at the weekend.
Well, people don't thousands of people go to college baseball games? Yeah. That blows my mind now.
Yeah, same with football.
What did you do Friday night? Went and watched a lot of school kids. I can't talk because we did go and watch a lot of school kids playing football in the week.
We loved it. And do you know what?
The best night of my life.
And I spent half an hour the other day trying to find out if Watford had actually played Plymouth yet.
Oh, we've all done this. Any idle moments, I'm on Google trying to work out.
And I even found oh my God, because you go down rabbit holes on the internet, obviously, especially if your mind works like mine does. And 20 minutes later, I was on the Watford website. Eventually, I found Watford versus Plymouth from and then it was the actual thing.
Yeah. That's the problem. It's a shame they're in the same league because it really ruins our research.
So we need to drop Joe a message and find out where that's up to.
We'll do that. He said he'll keep us updated. I'll chase that up.
But how well did the girls do? I mean, the boys were runners up in the Trofeo Mediterraneo. That may not be the word, but
it is now.
It's definitely Trofeo, which made me laugh.
Yeah,
Trofeo?
It's like what someone who's never left England says when they go over to Spain on the holidays.
Trofeo.
Yeah, uno biro. Por favor.
It goer. There, Trofeo. Yeah.
But yeah, they're all. So that was it. The football education program that was
Yeah. So the girls won the over 17s, and the boys lost 1-0 in the final. Ironically, to a conceded penalty, given that their keeper had saved I don't know how many penalties in that game.
Well, Martin Ellen has pointed out in the comments he's currently watching Barcelona versus Stockport County right now.
Wow.
Academy. I thought he was playing FIFA or something, but no, I didn't even know about that.
No, I didn't. That's pretty amazing.
But imagine there was some kid playing for Barcelona and he fell in love with County based on that game, and
Could happen. I mean,
can you get a work permit for a 15-year-old?
Los Baz could have.
We could seek out the next Los Baz.
Los Baz, interestingly, I believe is going to be back for the last couple of games for Hull. Or no, I won't say back. Available,
yeah.
Whether, I mean, I'm not entirely sure. Given the stakes for them at the moment.
Another reason for us not to get promoted, because if we do, then that's where the clamour will.
Yeah, but he's and we've got Brad Hills now.
Yeah,
moved on.
We've got one beautiful haired lone player. We don't need another. Right? Should we? I think we should think about wrapping up there.
I love that we said we wouldn't do an hour.
I know, and we did an hour without even trying.
No.
It was so we will be back Monday night. It'll still be live on YouTube, but if you want to come down. It'll be fun.
It will.
Yeah.
There's
baked goods.
It's just like we said that we were doing this podcast like friends sitting in the pub talking about the football.
Yeah.
Like it's not highbrow.
No, well,
we get distracted. It's very tangential.
Yes, yeah.
And so it's just more of our friends at Stockport Gin.
I was looking when I was doing all the new thumbnails. I looked at thumbnails is a technical term for the thing that comes up on YouTube when you see a video. I just got to tell these idiots. They're not clever like what we are. And when I was doing the thumbnails, I was putting all the old episode titles onto the format and stuff like that. And there was one where it said one of the things in the title was Colin Tangents. And I just thought that'd be a great name for a detective who can't focus on a detective with ADHD. He just can't focus on a case. He keeps going off on tangents and leaving all these crimes unsolved. Oh, that's one of my new comedy characters. I had another comedy character that came up the other week that I was going to do on here. Maybe I'll break it out at the live show. That's going to be a treat for everyone.
When we're, post Wembley, I'm like a shell of a woman because I spent 300 quid on at Wembley and we've still lost. Selling all my clothes on Vinted to raise money for
that can be the show where we'll record it here, but you can just curl up and sleep on there, and I'll just sit here and do all my shit comedy characters.
You can have the dog.
Me and Madden, I'll do the show from here, and you can just have a little sleep there. We'll put a blanket on you and everything. Come and stroke your hair every 5 minutes. It's all gonna be okay. Oh, thank you to everyone who's tuned in over Saturday. I'm really obsessed with radio DJs at the moment. You know how they go, it is 11:07 over Saturday. The time is fast approaching midday. After the break, it's a classic from Toto. It'll be Africa.
If you're stuck for football chat, when I picked up my phone before to do my Paddy Power bet, which I didn't do because I got distracted by the message, Stockport Town are at home, so I'm going to Stockport Town this afternoon.
Are you going to Stockport Town this afternoon?
Yeah, I am now.
Sounds like a good party. You get to have a Great North Pie. Oh, we need to record in person every week. Oh, we need to hire a studio space in the heart of Stockport's Old Town. God, I could really
Strawberry Studio.
that one like Stockport podcast I've done has really turned me into like a tourist board wanker. Right, we will be back from the earlier time of 7 p.m. with cauliflower brownies. Thanks, Phil. We'll see you then. If you are coming down to Stockport Gin, let us know anyway.
Just let us know.
Yeah, so Hannah knows how small to slice the brownies. Say goodbye, Hannah.
Bye.
Bye.